as we do look ahead to Wednesday, I guess I wanted to begin with sort of your analysis of this quarterback class, because we've known for a while now that pen to paper is going to happen for Arch Manning to Texas. And, there are some other quarterbacks that have all been linked up to their likely destinations. How do you look at this quarterback class sort of at the top end or top to bottom? How deep is it? What is the real ceiling for this 2023 quarterback class?
Well, I think I see several guys that I think will become the faces of college football in 2-3 years down the road. Obviously, you talked about Arch Manning, and I think that one of the things that people sleep on with Arch Manning, in addition to his ability to throw the football off-platform throws, is really just his ability to see the field well and know where to go with the football, and high football IQ, and a guy that I think that's going to be able to come into Texas in the perfect situation and play behind Quinn Ewers and then see what happens. But look, I'll tell you this. I remember being at a quarterback collective event a few years ago, and Caleb Williams was there working out. And after it was over, he pulled one of the counselors aside and said, "Hey, I want to get some extra work in, to get ready for Oklahoma, to go in there and compete and try and win a job." And I remember sitting there thinking, win the job? I mean, hell, you got Spencer Rattler there. He's the Heisman Trophy candidate. That's his job till he moves on to the NFL. But that's certainly not how it played out. Caleb Williams came in there, won the job, wins the Heisman Trophy this past year. So you never know with these guys, and you think you have an idea of what these quarterback rooms look like, and then these talented guys get in there and they shake things up. Malachi Nelson's going to be the quarterback in waiting for Lincoln Riley in USC. He was the guy that he identified very early in the class and committed to him at Oklahoma, going to follow him over to USC now and play closer to home. And any quarterback that Lincoln Riley and Ryan Day signed, for that matter, you feel like if they ultimately become the starter, they're going to be a first-round draft pick. And for Lincoln Riley, probably win the Heisman Trophy. My favorite quarterback in this class, guys, is Jackson Arnold. I think he's played in the most big games on the high school level against the best competition, against the best coaching. I think as a junior, they took Austin Westlake all the way to the fourth quarter. I thought Austin Westlake was the best high school football team in the country for a couple years, and they gave them hell in that game. I think that for Oklahoma to be able to lose Malachi Nelson, but then Brent Venables and company, to get a guy like Jackson Arnold, who was just kind of there closer to home, because Texas was all in on Arch. They didn't recruit Jackson Arnold, so that'll be an interesting dynamic, right? Texas passes on the best quarterback in state to go out of state to get Arch Manning, while their rival gobbles up the best quarterback in the state of Texas, the number one player in the Lone Star State. That's going to be a little interesting to watch as down the road, in my opinion. I'm excited about that. And then Dante Moore, he's a high school football legend in Detroit now. He'll be on Mount Rushmore for football players to come out of Motown. He's a two-time state champ. He played in the state title game as a freshman, 4-year starter. He's headed to Oregon. There's some schools that are trying to change that late in the process, particularly UCLA, but still hearing he more than likely ends up signing with Oregon as they push for a top 10 class with Dan Lanning and company. And I just think he's wired right. Certainly a guy that can make all the throws. And then, maybe the most talented guy in the class is Nico Iamaleava, who's committed to Tennessee. Obviously, that made a lot of headlines when he jumped in the boat early for the Vols. He's a guy that has an electric arm. He's got an electric personality, and so he'll be an exciting player for the Vols down the road. And then I think the last guy to mention, I could go on and on. Maybe I'll mention two more guys, but Jaden Rashada kind of reminds me of Dwayne Haskins, natural thrower of the football, recently minted as a 5-star. He's headed to Florida. And then Avery Johnson, man, he's going to Kansas State. Kansas State, they win the Big 12 championship this year. Avery Johnson's one of those true 3-sport athletes, roll out of bed good at everything he does. Fantastic high school football player, dual threat that also will dunk on you in basketball. He'll hit over 400 in baseball. He's got an alpha personality, and I'm excited to see what he does at Kansas State.